welcome to our very first episode of Ask the Experts with Mayor Broome and Healthy VR. We are at the beautiful Capitol Park Museum. We are so grateful for their partnership in this effort. As you all know, Mayor Broome is so serious about our health and our wellness, and for that reason, Mayor Broome and Healthy VR have brought this series to you. We are going to be talking about an array of different topics over the span of the next few months, and we want you to stay locked in and engaged, okay? So don't forget to like, follow, and share these episodes and videos so your family and friends can stay connected to this work and information. Now, if you have questions, don't be afraid. We've got answers. Drop them in the chat. This first episode, we're talking about all things nutrition, food access, food insecurity, food and research. You don't want to miss it. Without further ado, Ask the Experts with Mayor Broome and Healthy VR.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Of course, I'm Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome, and I want to officially thank all of you all for participating tonight in our first episode of Ask the Expert. And so we're kicking off this series by celebrating National Nutrition Month, which I'm sure many of you all are aware of, and that's during the month of March. And so everyone should take the time to learn about making informed choices and developing healthy eating and physical activity habits. And so our diet, as you well know, is an essential building block for our overall health, and we can all take steps to improve our eating habits, right? So we should all do our best to eat our share of nutritious and healthy foods this month and every month after that. We're joined today by nutrition experts from our community who will help us understand the steps we can take to make healthier choices. Now, my panelists, Alexis Motley, Dr.Candida, Rebello, and Chris Tyson. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourselves. Alexis, I learned a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Tell me a little bit.
So I'm Alexis Motley. I'm a registered dietitian. I am currently working on my PhD at LSU. I teach at LSU, and I have a private practice. I absolutely love everything about being a dietitian because I'm motivating people to make a positive change.
Great. Chris?
Again, Chris Tyson with the Build Baton Rouge. I lead that organization, our city's redevelopment authority. Healthy neighborhoods, which we focus on developing, need access to healthy food. And so we see food access, the ability to have community farms, the ability to ensure that locally grown food and food producers and businesses have opportunities as a core part of developing healthy, sustainable neighborhoods. So we're happy to work on that on behalf of the people of Baton Rouge.
And Dr. Rebello.
I'm Dr. Rebello. I'm a research scientist and a registered dietitian at the Pennington Biomedical. And the goal of my research is food as medicine. So I look at the effects of food components on, at the molecular level, meaning I look at it, how it works in cells, and if it works in cells, then I take it into human trials. And my goal is to be able to reach a point where we can have components from food that can be used to treat chronic disease.
Great. Well, let's start with you, Alexis. You're doing great work, I understand, educating families around the benefits of healthy eating. As we all know, March is National Nutrition Month. So why should we be taking our nutrition seriously now more than ever before?
So I really like to say that health is wealth. What we eat affects how we feel throughout the day, how we perform throughout the day. Food is super important. It provides us with carbohydrates, protein, fiber, water, just the basic nutrients that we need to go throughout the day. And when we lack those things, we develop chronic diseases. So it's really important to eat nutritious food every day.
And what are some strategies and tips that you would offer regarding maintaining a healthy diet that everyday folks can implement immediately? You know, sometimes we reject the thought of diet, the word diet.
I never use the word diet because the first three letters, it says diet. So I tell people to eat a variety of foods. So you want to eat foods from all the food groups. You want to increase your water intake. You want to enjoy what you're eating. You want to avoid distractions while you're eating. I would recommend creating a weekly menu, shopping with a grocery list, starting your school day or work day with breakfast, and including and enjoying some healthy snacks. I would think you should create tasty meals, so add spices to your meals. It's National Nutrition Month. How about consulting a registered dietitian nutritionist to create a personalized nutrition plan for you? Those are some quick tips that you can incorporate starting today.
Excellent. Dr. Rebello, would you share how nutrition research can directly and indirectly impact everyday people and influence our health outcomes?
So nutrition research is evolving. You know, as we learn more about disease, we're learning more about the interaction of nutrition with disease. We started out with healthy diets, but as time has progressed, we've all moved towards diets that are high in components like saturated fats and high in sugar. And the goal now, even the NIH has made a big push towards pushing nutrition research. They've, for the first time, come out with a strategic nutrition plan for 10 years. And one of the goals of that plan is something that's really close to me, which is food as medicine. And we know that there's no one size fits all. We come from different race and ethnicities. We are different age groups. We have of course, we are different sexes. We have different metabolism, physiology, our gut microbiome are very different. It's no one size fits all. But now we have the tools to synthesize data from all over and to come up with, algorithms that can help people. And we're making this push towards precision nutrition. We're a long way from there. But at this time, the goal is towards making small moves, sustainable changes, and taking it into our communities.
Speaking of small moves, we got a question from social media about a move that many people are making towards the keto diet. Is it a fad? Is it a great diet? Is it safe, evidence-based? Can you indeed raise your cholesterol, and could it possibly damage your heart? These are some things we've heard, and as I said, this question came to us through social media. So is there a diet that you recommend?
So the ketogenic diet is certainly not a fad diet. It's been used for many years to treat certain conditions like epilepsy. So essentially what a ketogenic diet is, it has a very low amount of carbohydrates, anywhere from 20 to 50 grams of carbohydrate. So it shifts metabolism towards breakdown of fat. And when you break down fat, that generates ketones, and that's where the word ketogenesis comes from, and that comes from starvation physiology. So it's not a fad diet, it's used to treat disease. As far as weight loss goes, in the short term, it works. As far as glucose metabolism goes, in the short term, it works. It makes absolute sense because you're cutting down carbohydrate. But over the long term, we really don't know. Most of the data shows, a meta-analysis is when all of the data is grouped together to arrive at a consensus decision about a particular a diet or a particular strategy. And we see that at 6 months, certainly the ketogenic diet gives you a lot of benefits. By 1 year's time, there's very little difference in weight loss between a ketogenic diet and a low-fat diet. By 2 years, there's no difference at all. So yes, a ketogenic diet is not a fad diet, but how it works in terms of glucose metabolism and how it might affect your health over the long term is pure conjecture at this point. Because the diet is high in fat, the likelihood is that you're going to be eating a lot of saturated fats, and a high content of saturated fat in your diet certainly affects your cholesterol levels. So, and a lot of people are on diabetic medication. So unless you have somebody who's actually monitoring it closely, there are dangers that can arise from a ketogenic diet.
Thanks. That's some good information to know. We're going to make a little shift and talk about some of the social determinants of health, which is a part of the fabric of my Mayor's Healthy City initiative. And economic stability, along with neighborhoods and built environment, are two of the pillars from the social determinants of health. So Chris, how do these two pillars in particular impact health outcomes and access to fresh and healthy foods?
Absolutely, Mayor, and certainly your focus on healthy foods is something that we at Build Baton Rouge have been focused on, along with a number of community partners who are working on these issues. We know that neighborhoods that have high levels of blight, high concentrations of households living in cycles of poverty or struggling with income have less to spend on food. We know they often have less time to prepare healthy foods or to kind of live in some of the lifestyles that we often advise and promote. And so that can lead to consuming very cheap foods, foods with low qualities of nutrients, and that can then spur on other side effects of that and show up in health and children's health and all types of issues. Obesity, different issues with diabetes and high blood pressure and hypertension and all of those things. And when that is concentrated in neighborhoods, it weighs on the mental health of the residents in a community. It can have other spillover effects. So at the core of that is nutrition and ensuring that families have access in their neighborhoods. And we take for granted that people can hop in a car and go to the grocery store, but we know in many of our neighborhoods that's not an option.
Right.
And so having that in close proximity in ways that offer access to healthy foods that are affordable and that also suit the lifestyles of people. If you are working hard with several jobs and you have kids, you may not always have the opportunity to prepare what we consider to be a healthy meal. And so designing and developing neighborhoods around those needs, those social determinants of health is important.
So the work of Build Baton Rouge, right now, you have plans to improve food access in food insecure areas through your work?
Absolutely. When we do our planning work, one of the things we hear back from residents is grocery stores, helping food entrepreneurs thrive in communities, bringing community farms and other ways to access fresh foods closer to the neighborhoods and the people who need them. And so that's a core part of redevelopment planning, and it's kind of woven into our work. And then working with, of course, your office and a number of other partners on initiatives to bring fresh quality grocery service to our disinvested neighborhoods, which we know is something we always hear when we talk to community residents. And so taking that from concept and kind of advocacy and making it a reality. There are a lot of moving parts to that, and certainly a lot of partners working hard on that, but that is a core part of our work.
So, final question for all of you all. What current or upcoming projects are you working around nutrition promotion and or food access that the people in our parish can connect with? We'll start on this end with Dr. Rebello right now.
So this is not something that I'm involved in, but the Pennington has been involved in a number of research projects that look at food access and food insecurity. And in fact, they recently published a paper in a high-ranking journal where they showed that people who are food insecure have a harder time losing weight. So this was a study that was done in primary healthcare clinics all over the state of Louisiana. So it was a large study, and they found that people who were insecure lost less weight. They had an intense lifestyle approach to help people to lose weight, and they found that people who were insecure lost less weight than people who were food secure. And it's ironic, they don't have enough access to food, and yet they find it difficult to lose weight. But the thing is that it's poor nutrition. It's not the quantity of food, it's the quality of the diet. So really we need to make giant steps in Louisiana towards improving the quality of the diet, food, and improving food security.
Thank you, Chris.
Similarly, Mayor, we're focused on fresh food access in our most disinvested neighborhoods, where we know residents, community leaders, our elected officials and activists have long called out for sustainable solutions, resources to address that. And so we work on that, be it through working on a grocery store for North Baton Rouge, or working on working with the Food Insecurity Coalition, those working on community farms and others to make sure that vacant lots, for example, can be used to support that type of development in our neighborhoods.
And finally, Alexis.
Okay, I have partnered with Sweet Jones Farm, and we are bringing planter boxes to daycare centers and pre-K-4 programs so that we can expose children to nutritious foods at an early age. So the goal is for the farmer to teach them how to grow the food, I'll teach them how to prepare the food, and they will eat the food. And I believe that this will not only expose them to the food, but we can decrease picky eaters in children.
Awesome. Well, this has been a great conversation. I want to thank all of you all so much for joining us. And we want everyone to join us for the next episode of Ask the Expert.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming today and for Mayor Weston Broome and her Healthy City initiative, partnering with the Capitol Park Museum, that we could put on something so amazing and important to our community right here at Capitol Park Museum. If you've not yet been, please do plan a visit. You can traverse the entire city, the entire state in one building.